All right, today we are diving into a really powerful idea from a thinker named Peter Block. It's called stewardship. And honestly, it's a concept that completely challenges the way we think about leadership, management, and even our own role at work. But before we get into the solution, let's start with a feeling I'm pretty sure you've had. Ever look around the workplace and just think, why does so much of this feel kind of broken? Despite all the tech and all the talk about efficiency, why does it so often feel isolating or just off? Well, it turns out you're not just imagining it. Peter Block actually calls this the core paradox of modern work. And digging into this problem, really understanding it, is the only way we can start to see a path forward. So what are the symptoms of this paradox? Well, they're pretty specific. We've got all these tools to be connected, but we feel more isolated than ever. The constant pressure creates this background hum of anxiety and fear, not genuine motivation. Work-life balance, yeah, that's become a myth for a lot of us. And all of this pushes us into this competitive, scarcity mindset where it feels like we're all fighting for the same small piece of the pie. And you know what the result of all that is? We start to feel completely powerless. We just sit back and wait for someone up there to fix things. A new CEO, a new policy, a new memo. It creates this cycle of dependency where we don't feel like we have any real power to change the system we're in every single day. So, if the old ways are failing us, what's the alternative? This is where Peter Block introduces a fundamentally different way of thinking, a whole new approach he calls stewardship. Okay, so what is it? At its core, stewardship completely flips the script on what leadership is supposed to be. It's not about command and control. It's about service. It's about choosing to be accountable for the health of the entire organization, not by micromanaging people, but by helping them, by serving them, so they can do their best work. Block nails it with this quote. He says, "Stated simply, it is accountability without control or compliance." Just let that sink in for a second. Imagine being held accountable, not because you're being watched or because you have to check a box, but because you choose to be. That right there, that's the whole game. Now, this isn't some fuzzy, feel-good concept. Stewardship is a real practice, and it's built on making three very specific, very intentional choices about how we show up and how we structure our organizations. The first big choice is to move from what Block calls patriarchy to partnership. So the old model patriarchy is all about top-down control. It's about rules, consistency, compliance. But partnership, it flips it on its head. It's about balancing power, where the purpose isn't just handed down from on high, it's created together. This is where ownership actually gets distributed to the people doing the work, which naturally creates real accountability. The second choice is choosing adventure over safety. Look, we all get it. It's tempting to want a safe, predictable job where you just do what you're told. But that desire for safety, Block argues, leads to dependency, entitlement, and a culture where nobody wants to take a real risk. Choosing adventure is about choosing freedom, making an actual emotional investment, and taking back your own authority to make a real difference. And the third choice, this one might be the biggest of all. It's choosing service over self-interest. This is that fundamental shift away from how do I get ahead to how do we succeed. In this world, power isn't something you grab for yourself. It's something the community gives you because you support them. The whole focus moves from individual scorecards to genuine collaboration. Okay, so the philosophy is pretty compelling, right? But what does this actually look like on a Monday morning? How do you take these big ideas and bake them into the daily operations of a company? Well, it means you have to fundamentally change how core parts of the business work. Take HR, for example. Instead of being the policy police enforcing one-size-fits-all rules, HR becomes a partner that helps individual teams create the practices that work for them. Or finance. Instead of being a gatekeeper obsessed with compliance, the finance team becomes a support system that teaches everyone economic literacy so they can make their own smart decisions. See the pattern here? The ultimate goal is to put the power to make things better directly into the hands of the people who are actually doing the work. Not some outside consultant, not some senior vice president, but the core teams themselves. Now, whenever you talk about a big idea like this, something that really shakes things up, there is always one question. You know the one. It's the practical, get real question that always comes up. Okay, this sounds great in theory, but how? How do we actually do it? Just give me the checklist, the 5-step plan. Tell me what to do. We're just hardwired to ask for the instruction manual, right? And this is where Peter Block delivers his final and maybe most profound gut punch. He argues that our obsession with asking how isn't really a search for a method. It's our insecurity talking. It's our way of avoiding the truly difficult personal work that real change demands. So instead of asking other people for a roadmap, Block says we need to be asking ourselves some much deeper questions. Questions like, is it possible for me to claim my own freedom? Is it possible for me to be of service to something bigger than my own career? And is it possible to feel secure while doing that, instead of just chasing a predictable paycheck? The answer, then, isn't a manual. The answer is to stop looking for one. It's about changing the question itself. It's a shift in our own mindset, starting not with how, but with why, and more importantly, with who. Who do we choose to be? And that really leaves us with the final and most important question of all. And this one is for you. Stewardship isn't a program that gets rolled out. It's a series of individual choices. So when you look at your own work, your team, your organization, what future are you going to choose to create?